Now on GMU at 6, threatening hate letters sent to Asian Americans in Taylorsville. Here what the letters told Asians would happen if they didn't, quote, go home.
And Dixie State University calling for input, how people can respond to a new survey on the highly controversial name change.
And then Governor Cox hoping to get hundreds of Utahns back on the job. Hear about a new initiative he'll announce today.
Plus, dominant high pressure will lead to continued sunshine across the north, a little bit more cloud cover in the south, but record-breaking warmth on the way. Coming up.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 6 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Jared Jutnany for Sarah Martin. It is 6 o'clock on this Thursday morning.
And we begin with developing news. A number of Asian Americans in the Salt Lake Valley say they're getting threatening hate mail. The letters were mailed to people's homes last month and slipped under their doors. The person who sent the letters glorifies the killings of 6 Asians in Georgia. The letters tell Asian people here, go home, or more will be killed.
These are threats towards a group. It's a hate crime. We take these things seriously. We want them reported.
Now, because of one of the letters were sent by U.S. mail, the postmaster is now involved. Crime scene investigators are combing over the letters for any type of evidence to arrest who wrote them. This is the first case of Asian hate that the Unified Police Department here in the Salt Lake Valley has dealt with since the pandemic started.
Those attacks on Asian Americans also have people wondering how to safely intervene if they see a hate crime in progress. The University of Utah recommends being direct when calling out potential hate crimes, delegate roles if you're in a group to distract the attacker from the victim in public, and ask the victim if it's okay to call police.
What we do know from the research is that the more people that are actually witnessing an event, the less likely we are to actually intervene, because we make an assumption that someone else will do it or that it's not our responsibility to intervene.
Tonight at 7 p.m. on Utah CW 30, we will explore the topic of bystander intervention and why it can be an important conversation to have with your family and friends.
And happening today, what do you think should be the new name of Dixie State University? Dixie State is now rolling out an online survey to get people's suggestions. The survey asks people to rank different theme options. There's also space to suggest new ideas on the survey not already included. You can share your input on the survey now through April 13th. To participate in that survey, just go to online to dixie.edu/name process. And happening today, Utah Governor Spencer Cox is announcing a new initiative to get people out of a job back to work. The new initiative from the governor and the lieutenant governor will encourage state agencies to create returnships. So returnships, widely considered internships for adults who've taken time away from their careers who want to go back. They'll make that announcement during today's COVID-19 press briefing at 11 a.m.
Happening today, if you're out of work, hundreds of Utah employers are looking to hire at a virtual job fair. The Utah Department of Workforce Services will host the job fair starting at 10 this morning. More than 3,400 positions are available in fields like healthcare, construction, education, retail, and manufacturing. For a list of employers, you can head to the website jobs.utah.gov.
Well, the time now is 6:03. We're getting ready for a beautiful weather weekend. Here's a live look outside at downtown Salt Lake. Now, it's tough to see out there this morning, but temperatures yesterday in the 50s, and as we see the sun come up this morning, as we go into Easter, it's only supposed to warm up even more. So let's get a check of that weather here with meteorologist Adam Carroll. How hot's it going to get, Adam?
Ooh, record-breaking warm here, Brian. I think we like that, especially when we're talking about a holiday as big as Easter is, and we've got those big outdoor Easter egg hunts that a lot of us are going to likely be having here this weekend. But, you know, we also want to talk about the end of March because, of course, that was yesterday, and we're talking April today, but just slightly below normal in the average temperature here in precipitation. These are the new 30-year normal numbers, but overall snowfall was the 13th least snowiest March on record, and yeah, I mean, we definitely knew that we didn't have a lot of snow, but you know, St. George saw more snow than we did, which was even wilder. Satellite radar is as quiet as can be, and you know what? That's okay, because we had a fairly active latter half of March, so we have a little bit of a break, but we will get more active weather here moving forward. 42 in St. George, 29 in Provo, 27 Price, also in Evanston, 19 in Ely. As we head out the door this morning, you're looking at clear skies heading into the upper 30s here by 8 a.m., looking at a nice sunrise out there today as well, whether you're going to school or to work. You know, our forecast high temperatures here compared to the average high temperatures, and many are at least 10 degrees above normal, but Cedar City is about 12. Eastern Nevada is going to be nearly 15 or not warmer above normal here today, with high pressure just completely dominating the Intermountain West. A little bit more cloud cover in the south, though, heading into the afternoon hours. Traffic-wise, everything's looking smooth out there. So let's go into Tooele, where you can see no problems whatsoever, guys. So that makes for some smooth sailing.
All right, Adam, thank you. Police are investigating a deadly crash that shut down 4th South and Redwood Road yesterday. Police say a driver traveling south tried to turn onto 4th South when it hit a car traveling the opposite direction. A passenger in the southbound car died at the scene. The two drivers were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Police are investigating what caused the crash.
A man accused of taking police on a high-speed chase is now in jail this morning. It started last night when officers got a call for a reckless driver going over 100 miles an hour on I-15 there in Davis County. During the police chase, the driver crashed into several cars. And when that driver tried to get off the freeway, state troopers hit the car trying to get off the exit there at Parish Lane. That spun the car into the median there on Legacy Parkway. The driver was first taken to the hospital, but is now in custody.
All right, April Fool's Day is meant for lighthearted practical jokes, but it's also a good time to remind folks not to trust everything you hear. Misinformation is nothing new, but experts at the University of Utah say how fast misinformation spreads on social media is. Experts say always be wary of information that seems slanted or doesn't seem right, and think twice before sharing information that you have not confirmed.
You know, it's really hard to tell what is and is not real, and when we get duped, you know, sometimes we feel that in ways beyond just, oh, it's a bad tweet, I'll delete it, or I won't share that. It can really affect our lives.
Holton, who you just heard from there, pointed to the wide-ranging impact of a recent incident with Volkswagen. The company announced it was changing its name to Volkswagen with a T to highlight electric cars. Turns out that wasn't true. It was all an April Fool's joke, but people bought into it, sending the company's stock surging by 5%.
Pfizer says their COVID-19 vaccine is now safe for all teenage kids. Newly released data shows the vaccine is 100% effective against the virus for kids 12 to 15. It's the first time research has been released for kids of this age group. The FDA still has to approve the vaccine for use, however, in the age group.
University of Utah health officials say some parents living in rural areas are hesitant to vaccinate their children from COVID-19. A study from the University of Utah shows those under the age of 18 show similar side effects as adults. Health experts say it's important for the public to hear reassurance from people they trust, like their local government, officials, doctors, and friends.
It's not an easy job. There is no one-size-fits-all, but we have to keep communicating that this is great news. These are good vaccines. This is a terrible disease. There's lots and lots of benefits to getting your children immunized.
The FDA still needs to approve vaccine usage for those under 18 years old, but Dr. Pavia says it could be available publicly in the next couple months.
And here's your morning update on COVID-19. Utah had 514 new cases yesterday. That brings our state total to 385,000. Utah has administered 1,360,000 doses of the vaccine. 135 COVID patients are currently being treated in Utah hospitals, and 4 more Utahns have died for a total of 2,122. You look at our last 7 days, you see our daily case totals popping up. Right now, Utah is averaging 418 new cases a day. That's the green line on your screen. Our testing positivity rate is 6.7%.
New this morning, inmates at the Davis County Jail are next in line to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. The correctional facility is partnering with the Davis County Health Department to offer vaccines to anyone that chooses. 209 inmates have already received the first dose of the vaccine, and later this month, vaccinations will be offered once a week to those newly in custody. Despite an outbreak back in December, officials say there are not any active cases.
As more people get the vaccine, cases of COVID-19 in nursing homes and senior care centers are dropping. A new survey says since December, when vaccines first came out, there's been a 96% drop in cases and a 91% drop in deaths in facilities nationwide. The executive director of Alta Ridge Assisted Living in Holiday says her facility has no positive tests at any time during this pandemic.
As bad as a lot of other communities have been hit and losing a lot of residents and us keeping it out of our community, I think we are extremely fortunate. I don't know what we did right, but we did it, so it's a win.
Reduced vaccine or reduced cases is a win. She says because of the vaccine, Alta Ridge has relaxed visiting restrictions so family members and friends can start visiting their loved ones again.
New this morning, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is 75% finished revising their English General Handbook. That started last year. The new version, published yesterday, includes 4 rewritten chapters and 7 additional chapters. The church also released its World Report yesterday. The April 2021 edition shows how Latter-day Saint charities are reaching people impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is now available on Newsroom and on YouTube. This comes in advance of the church's biannual general conference this weekend. It'll be held virtually for members across the world. All right, time now 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Utah, one of the stars from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City facing some real accusations. We'll break down the fraud case against Jen Shaw coming up in a live interview. And more troubles at the Suez Canal. See why officials say there's not enough spots for ships to unload.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
All right, Adam, I know it's Thursday, but we're all looking ahead to Easter weekend, and you can't ignore the weather we've got this weekend.
Well, you can't when you're talking record-breaking warmth,
Right?
Brian. But, you know, before we get to that, let's go backwards here. One day, which is the end of March, because now that we have all the statistics calculated, we can show that we saw 1.2 inches of snow in March in Salt Lake City. That's the 13th least snowiest we've ever seen. Now, in St. George, we saw 2.5 inches, which was the 5th snowiest they've ever seen. So how many times has St. George actually been or seen more snow over a month span of time than Salt Lake City? Well, it's pretty rare since 1885. You're looking at just 10 times. Once in November, twice December, 4 times January, twice in February, and once in March. So, yes, we don't see this often, and we're done seeing that at least for this year, but that March date had never happened before, so, you know, we rewrote the record books there. 25 in Lehigh, 30 Tooele, 18 Park City right now, 34 in Salt Lake. As we move through the hours, we're going to get into the upper 60s here under plenty of sunshine. Just a bright start to the morning, sunny and mild here at noon, and just a simply stunning rest of the day here across northern Utah. And warmer air is upon us, above average as well, but well above average to our far north into places like Montana, the upper Midwest, as an area of high pressure is bringing in its clockwise flow, and as it does that, that flow is of the warm variety, and it will continue to warm around here, and it will block anything in its way except for a little bit of some cloud cover here that rolls into the region a little bit later this afternoon here on Futurecast. As it moves into southern Utah, it'll move in a northeasterly direction, and as it does so, you'll see the clouds start to increase here in aerial coverage, and as that happens, we are not looking at a lot in terms of the clouds moving into northern Utah, but what we are looking at is a little bit of cloud cover here across places like St. George overnight, and then kind of clearing away here on Friday. So clear skies out there by tomorrow yet again in St. George. Saturday, Sunday brings in that record warm temperature and 90 degrees possible in St. George at that point in time as well. So that is something, if you're looking for 90s, that is something to get excited about. Now, in terms of the Wasatch Front, sunny skies here through Friday and then mostly sunny Saturday, but look at these record warm temperatures here, 78, 79, 80 degrees. That would be the first 80, and also only the second earliest 80-degree temperature ever in Salt Lake City. But it would be something where we haven't seen this type of warmth here, at least this early in April, since 1889. So that's something else to just be amazed about, for the fact that this is something we haven't seen in quite some time around here. As far as traffic is concerned, you know, not a whole lot going on out there. If anything, it's really just wonderful across the Wasatch back. You can see from Heber all the way over to Parley Summit here. Everything looks A-okay, guys.
All right, Adam, thank you. Now to the federal fraud investigation involving Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast member Jen Shah. Due to technical difficulties yesterday, her arraignment was postponed until Friday, but we're told she's expected to plead not guilty to 2 federal fraud charges. Shah and her assistant Stuart Smith are facing 2 charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud with telemarketing and a conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to federal documents, there were hundreds of people over the age of 55 who claimed they fell victim to this scheme. So how do high-profile celebrity cases work, and what can we expect in the next steps in Shah's case? Joining us live to break all of this down is California-based fraud attorney David Fleck. David, good morning. This is a huge talker story in Utah. So why does the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office take a liking to these types of cases?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. But to be totally frank, there are far more fraud cases out there than law enforcement will ever be able to investigate and prosecute. So high-profile cases create an opportunity to warn potential fraudsters out there, don't do this, or this will happen to you.
And with so many people watching and this making such big news, I mean, this is a great opportunity, sounds like, to take some of that, to take that opportunity. Now, the strength of their case against Shah and Smith, what is the government's strength?
Yeah, well, okay, they have so many cases to choose from, honestly, and I hate to tell people that there are so many cases to choose from. They're not likely to choose weak cases, right? So, but digging into the details, I mean, they have alleged that Jen Shaw and others basically scammed people out of their money by calling them up on the telephone and talking them into buying services that were never provided. They allege that Jen Shaw's role was in providing the call lists, the lists of people to be called and targeted as victims. The issue that in this type of case is, of course, her knowledge of the crime, of what was going on. It's not illegal to create a sales list, but if she knew these sales lists were being used to commit fraud, well, then that's a crime. Because they have to prove her knowledge, because you can't accidentally defraud somebody. You have to intentionally cause the fraud to happen.
Why do people like Shaw tend to target folks that are over the age of 55? Because we learned yesterday that doing so could create some harsher punishments if caught.
Yeah. Well, there are a few reasons. One reason is that some of the older generation tend to be more trusting and polite, and so they'll believe these people on the phone. They won't immediately suspect they might be scam artists. The other reason is a lot of older folks tend to be lonely, and if there's somebody on the phone who's friendly and interesting and willing to talk, the senior victim will stay on the phone, which gives the con artist a longer time to build that rapport, that trust that they need to convince the victim to part with their money or property. And then the last reason is a lot of these seniors are on fixed incomes, and they may not be happy with the amount of income they have. And if somebody's offering a get-rich scheme, I mean, to the right person, that can be very enticing. Remember, not every senior will fall victim to this, but these con artists are calling hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
Hate to cut you off. We only have about 30 seconds left. But how does restitution play into the opportunities that Shaw's attorneys could win this case?
Did you say restitution?
Yeah, their ability to pay restitution to the victims.
Yeah, well, okay, restitution will be a part of this. There will be a restitution order at the end of this to compensate the victims, but I will tell you, in many fraud cases, it's hard to recover the money. The money is often spent as quickly as it comes in by con artists.
All right, David Fleck, thank you so much for waking up early with us on Good Morning Utah. We'll continue to watch this high-profile case. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
The time now 6:21. Up next on GMU, hikers stranded on a cliff hoisted to safety. See the harrowing rescue there in Weber County coming up. And hospital workers protesting in Greece. See what those workers are demanding in your news around the world.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
We've been talking about a record-breaking weekend on tap here for northern Utah, and you're looking at the orange bars here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are your forecast highs. The red bars are the actual record highs for each one of these days. Each one of these days shows a record high temperature, not just a tie, but a record. Friday, Saturday for sure, and Sunday. But Friday and Saturday or Sunday are going to be real close, but we are still forecasting for those records to fall. 68 in Salt Lake though today, before we get to the 70s, and 82 in St. George, 71 in Moab, 61 Rock Springs. A little bit more cloud cover here later into the day today. A little weak disturbance brings in the clouds, but overall 87 will be the high tomorrow with more sunshine as those clouds exit to the east. And then you're in the possibility of some record territory as well Saturday and Sunday with 89 and 90 degree temperatures. So this is a historic little heat wave, if you want to call it that, especially this early in the season. For the Wasatch Front, lots of sunshine here across the area for the next several days as we approach the 80 degree mark, and a temperature that we haven't seen since 1889 for April 4th. That's just even more wild to think. And then a cooler, little bit more unsettled pattern sets up for next week. As far as traffic is concerned, everything's still looking great out there in terms of traffic. So actually, if anything, we're going to head up into northern Utah, places like Logan, Sardine Summit, and Brigham City. Everything's looking great up here in this area of the state as well.
Adam, thank you. Weber County Search and Rescue saved 2 hikers stranded on a cliff on Buse Canyon. Take a look at this picture. You can see crew members hoisting the hikers off the mountain to safety. Officials say the hikers went off trail and became stranded in a cliff area. Search and Rescue used a drone to first spot the hikers. Both hikers suffered mild hypothermia but are expected to be okay.
And more skiers are joining a petition asking Park City Resort to reopen a gate to the backcountry. Park City Mountain Resort closed off a gate skiers used in the past to get to the backcountry. Well, 2 backcountry skiers died in an avalanche in that area last month. However, the people behind the petition say they believe keeping the gate closed is, quote, unprecedented, unacceptable, and impedes their right to access shared public lands.
Our citizens should have access to public land, national forests. This is some of the best skiing in the world, so I don't think people should be restricted from skiing it, but I think that they need to be safe and definitely not go out there blind and know what they're getting into for sure.
Now, Park City Resort says they're carefully analyzing the issue with the U.S. Forest Service, but will keep the exits to the backcountry closed for this season. So far, the petition there on change.org has gathered more than 1,500 signatures.
The U.S. Interior Secretary is coming to Utah next week, and her trip could lead to the reversal of the Trump administration's decision to shrink Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante National Monuments. Those reductions paved the way for potential coal mining, oil and gas drilling on lands that used to be off limits. But President Biden has ordered the Interior Department to research whether he should restore those boundaries. Secretary Deb Haaland will meet with tribal and elected leaders as part of the trip.
Time now 6:28, still ahead on GMU. Asian Americans in Taylorsville getting threatening hate mail. Here our police are working to track down the sender. Plus, dozens of small businesses looking for new customers. Hear what they're doing that may inspire you to shop local. And a live interview. As we head out to the break, here's a live look outside. Beautiful shot of the Salt Lake Valley out there this morning. Give you a nice wide view to kind of soak it in out there today. Your weather on the 4s when we come back.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, that breaking news overnight. A mass shooting in California. A gunman opening fire at a business complex, killing 4, including 1 child. This is the 3rd high-profile mass shooting in just 3 weeks. So we'll have the latest on the investigation and so much more right here on GMA.